Hey guys, welcome back to BJ Tech News, episode 61. So today's episode is about SCCM 2012. Believe it or not, I took the opportunity to download the 180-day trial installation files from Microsoft to test out the SCCM 2012. I'm still in the process of doing 2007, but I'm gonna basically do both of them. And the reason why I started doing the SCCM 2012 because I got a lot of questions from my viewers and my subscribers to do SCCM 2012 because it's the latest one. So I got the files from Microsoft. The files are about 4 gigs. Unzipped it. It was an exe file. Unzipped it. Placed all the files into my C drive, and I started the splash file. Now, splash file, when you start that program up, you get this. First thing that you want to do is you want to do the server readiness. You want to make sure that the server is up to is ready for SCCM 2012. Okay, when I did that, I got the user account control. I hit yes. You get this. For me, it took a while because I was running everything on a virtual machine, but most likely, if you guys are running this on a physical machine, it should be a little quicker. I got this. This again took a while. It's scanning all the requirements, making sure I got everything. Again, it's a fresh virtual machine. I installed Windows 2008 Enterprise R2 on the machine. Didn't push out all the Windows updates. I know, bad practice. But I was trying to get everything up and running. Most likely, I'm gonna try to push all the updates, but I got a small hard drive. At the end of it, again, as you can see, I got a lot of warnings. I'm not too worried about the warnings, but I am worried about the errors. And this is what I'm going to show you throughout the slides. I'm going to show you guys how to get those errors away, so you can have the SCCM 2012 work for you guys. Okay. The first error is a warning, which is the WSUS. Most likely, you guys have a WSUS server already in your environment. For me, if you did see my SCCM 2007 videos, I installed WSUS locally on the machine. Again, you don't have to do that. But for me, I don't have a WSUS server, so I'm gonna install it locally to the machine. The second one, I believe it's a feature. I'm not too sure. I think it's a feature that you install within Windows 2008 R2. So that's an easy one. Now the SQL Server errors that I got is because, believe it or not, if you guys have been following me with my videos, I do have a SQL Server virtual machine. Believe it or not, that server wasn't good for SCCM 2012. So I actually had to install a SQL Server. I believe I did standard R2 Service Pack 1 with a hotfix that I'm going to show you guys that you need to have for SCCM 2012 to work properly. Okay, not best practice to have your SQL Server within the same host, but again, due to my host, I don't have a lot of space, so I had to put everything into one virtual machine. Best practice is you have your SQL Server in one machine, SCCM on another machine, and your WSUS on another machine. Okay. The next problem was .NET Framework. With the .NET Framework, as you can see, I have 2 errors. I have one here and then one here. One, I actually had to go online and download the .NET Framework 4.0 installation files and install it. And the other .NET is basically I have to go, I believe, into features again and install the .NET 3.5 console management stuff. This one right here is I didn't give the SCCM 2012 machine the proper access into the system management container into Active Directory. This is again is the SQL Server problem. This is again I have to install the feature problem. This is a server problem that I had the only reason this problem I was getting is because my server that I had in my virtual infrastructure wasn't good for it. But I fixed that problem. Bits, I think it's a role or a feature that I have to install, and you have to enable it. So, first thing to do is the first thing that I did. You guys don't really need to follow the way I did it. It's up to you. But this is the way I did it, and I got myself up and running. So the first thing I got to do is I installed the background intelligent transfer service bits. That's a feature. So I clicked on it, hit next. I think once you click on it, you get this dialog box. I added all the required server roles. I hit next, accepted all the defaults, hit next, hit install. It went. Installation succeeded. I got a warning. The only reason why I got a warning again, because I told you before, I didn't push any updates and the Windows updates services was not enabled. But best practices when you're creating your virtual machine, if you're doing this as a virtual machine, which I don't recommend, and you're doing it on a physical box and you're rebuilding your machine, push all the updates out. Next thing I did, again, as another feature, I installed the .NET Framework 3.5.1 features. Click on it, accept all the required features, hit install, bam. Again, I got the warning because I don't have the updates. Close it. Next thing I did was another feature, which is RDC, okay? And I clicked on that, installed, bam. That's another thing. That's one of the errors that I have. Another error down. Now, the next thing was WSUS. WSUS takes a while. So that is a role that you have to install within your 2008 server R2. So you go to roles, install WSUS, add all the required roles, hit next. I accept all the defaults, didn't change anything. Hit next, and hit install. Once you hit install, it takes a while. Sometimes for me, in my experience, this little dialog box is normally at the bottom of the taskbar blinking. So if you don't see that, you're basically waiting on this and it's processing and you think it's not working. Look at the taskbar, it's probably something blinking. Click on this and it's this dialog box waiting for you to continue with the wizard. Click next, accept it. Make sure that you do install Microsoft Report Viewer 2008. You're still able to configure WSUS 3.0 on the machine, but make sure you got the report viewer when you're done with the WSUS installation. Hit next. I left it as the C drive, but most likely best practice is change it to another location, D drive, if you have another partition. Hit next. In this case, I got kind of lazy, but I didn't. I just left the default as Windows internal database on the computer, and I didn't do like on my other video when I did 2007. I actually had WSUS point to my SQL Server, but I left it as is. Again, it's up to you guys how you want to work it. I hit next. I use the existing IIS default web settings as recommended, which we use port 80. The only reason that I did the port 80 again because in my virtual infrastructure, I don't have any web servers up and running using 80, so I'm able to use it. If you guys are going to use, or you guys have a website or intranet that's using port 80, most likely you want to do something else. Most likely you want to create a Windows Server Update Service website and change the port. Hit next. Gives you a nice little brief of what's going to happen. Hit next. That goes again. Hit finish. Once you hit finish, and at the background with the roles section, it's going to be installation succeeded. But you're going to get this dialog box, and it's going to want you to continue with the wizard again to configure the WSUS server. So you hit next. You get this dialog box. I unchecked this. It's up to you if you want to participate. I unchecked it. Hit next. Synchronize with the Microsoft updates. I don't have a proxy. I started the connecting. This takes a while because it's actually trying to contact Microsoft services, update services, and to see if they're synced and you can get a connection. Once that happens, the full bar goes, and then in the next button will highlight. Hit next. You pick a language. I pick English because that's all I want. From here, you choose the updates you want. I believe I only chose Windows 7 updates and Office updates. Hit next. Pick what classification of updates you want. I think for this environment, I only picked security updates. But again, most likely you want critical updates and definition updates and security updates and service packs. Hit next. You can synchronize manually or you can set an automatic time. It's up to you. Hit next, and if you want, you can begin the initial synchronization between your SUS server to Microsoft server, so they can start downloading the updates to your server. Hit next, and you hit finish, and then you're done with the WSUS stuff. The next thing I had to do is WebDav. Now WebDav, with 2007, you needed the role to work. Okay, when I first ran the installation, I had a problem with IIS and with Bits, because Bits wasn't working, so I had to install WebDav. So the way that you install WebDav, within your service manager, you go into your web service, IIS, go in the bottom, go to role services, and you locate, most likely you will see WebDav publishing not installed. You want to add that row. So click on that, check WebDav publishing, hit next. Actually, I did the WebDav publishing, and then I went in the bottom and I make sure I had IIS6 WMI, IIS6 scripting tools, and IIS6 management consoles. Okay, I hit next, got this dialog box, a nice little summary, hit install, bam, installation is done, hit close. Now the next thing that I had to do from my error list was I had to give the computer my SCCM 2012 permissions to the system management console. So I went to ADSI edit, I went to my domain controller, I went to the ADSI edit, went to the system container, went to the system management container. Now if you guys are installing SCCM 2012 for the very first time, you don't have SMS or SCCM 2007 on your environment, most likely you don't have the system management container, so you have to create the system management container, plus you have to give it the correct delegate rights or delegate controls for your SCCM machine to work properly. Okay, my Active Directory is already, I already extended that I extended my schema with Active Directory when I did 2007, so I didn't have to do it for 2012. So that's a plus. If you guys need it, to actually know how to do that stuff, check out my SCCM 2007 stuff, because it's the same thing as 2012. So what I did, I right click on the system management, and I make sure I went to object types, and I did computers, and I found my SCCM 2012, and I gave it full control rights. Okay, the next thing that I had to do is I went online and I found the .NET Framework 4.0, and I installed that. As you can see, real simple, just follow the prompts, finish, bam. Once I completed that, it was time for install, because I basically took care of all the errors and I took care of the warnings. With the installation, once you click on install, you get another UIC control dialog box, hit yes, read all this, you gotta make sure you have 1 through 4 good to go. I hit next, and I did the first one. I did the default install configuration manager primary site, and I checked use typical installation options for a standalone primary site. Once I did that, I hit next. Again, I don't have the honor to activate the product, so I had to do a eval mode, and that will only give me 180 days, which is awesome. So I did that. I set the license and terms. Now this is new. You have to accept all 3 to get the next box. You have to accept all 3 to get this next box to highlight. If not, you won't be able to do anything. Regardless, if you check 1, the next box will highlight, so you have to do all 3. So I did all 3. Hit next. Now this is up to you. I put everything on the C drive. I created a folder in the C drive, and I call it downloads. Most likely, I won't recommend doing it on the C drive. You can do it on the D drive. Like always, it's always best practice to not put a lot of stuff on your C drive. That's just best practice. That's just my habit. Once you do that, hit next. You get a bunch of configure manager files that are going to be downloaded into that folder. In my case, it was 41 files. It took a while, and once that's done, you get to this part. Now the site code, again, if you guys were viewing 2007 videos in my channel, the site code is very important, and you have to make sure you give the one you want, because you cannot change that at all. So I gave it BJT, which is BJ Tech. The site name, I give it BJ Tech News headquarters site. Again, that's up to you. Installation files, I left it as default as the C drive. And believe it or not, the fourth option right here is, I think it's unchecked. So if you don't check this, you won't have the configuration manager console installed. So that means you have to put the CD back into the machine and run it, and then get the splash to install the manager, which is weird. Hit next. I don't want to participate or no program, so I hit next. Nice little summary. Hit next. What's gonna happen here? It's gonna try to do an initial prerequisite test or check on the machine to make sure everything is up to par before it starts installing. I wasn't lucky. I got 3 errors, and it was the SQL Server version, and it was configuration for memory usage, which was a warning, and another memory warning. The 2 warnings I wasn't too worried about, and the issue was the reason why, because the virtual machine is testing. The first one I was worried about because, again, this is when I realized that my server that I had as a virtual machine did not work. So I actually had to get an ISO of SQL Server 2008 standard. I think you can do standard and enterprise. R2, gotta make sure it's R2, and service pack 1. So I think I got all that stuff ready. As you can see, once you have your SQL Server up and ready, and you have the requirements that you need for SCCM 2012 to work, which I'm gonna, and once you get the server stuff running, SQL Server stuff up and running with no problem, and most likely you have to restart your machine because you have to install all the goodies for your SQL Server to work correctly. Once you start your installation again, you get to this point, again, no error. But I still got the warnings. The only reason that I got those warnings is because I'm running on a virtual machine with 2 gigs, 2 processors. Sue me. Again, it's only for testing, so I'm not going to do anything crazy. Begin installation. It does this, it does this, it does this, it does more of this, it does more of this, does more of this, more of this. And it took me on a virtual machine, it took about 32 minutes for the installation to finish. So once it was finished, I went to start one program, so Microsoft Configuration Manager, create a shortcut on the desktop, double click on it, and I open it up, and bam, it was good to go. So I'm gonna show you guys the virtual machine. As you can see, I went to start. It actually installed Microsoft Windows AIK for you. So that's pretty cool. In 2007, I don't think it does that. Created a shortcut for the manager. As you can see, I installed SQL Server 2008 R2 on it. Let's double click on the console to open it up. Most likely, I think I installed it over the weekend, so I should have like about 178, 179 days left, and hopefully I have enough time to do more videos for you guys, because I know one question that my friend asked was, how can I upgrade 2007 to 2012? That's an easy question. You can't. There's no way to upgrade to 2007 to 2012. The reason you have to do a migrate. So you have to migrate whatever you have in 2007 to 2012. It's not like a service pack. So that's a bad thing. So hopefully I do one of those videos and show you guys how to get that up and running, so you guys don't have to redo everything again. So that's about it, guys. I'm loving the interface. It's pretty awesome. I have 179 days left to do more videos for you guys. Hopefully you guys leave comments below and let me know what you guys want me to show you. Without you guys giving me input and feedback, I can't be BJ Tech News. So if you guys leave me a comment below, right below, and let me know what you guys want to see with SCCM 2012. Again, I have 179 days left until this expires. If anything happens, I just gotta rebuild everything again. That just basically gives me more practice. Again, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Please again leave comments. Also subscribe. That little button right there that says subscribe. Subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest tips and tricks on hardware and software. And thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.
Subscribe. Thank you.